With Destined Rivals finally releasing on Pokemon TCGlive, we can finally test out some of these new decks we've been excited about. Starting with Cynthia's Garchomp. We're also going to try out Team Rocket, Ethan, and Misty's deck. I win the coin flip and choose to go first. I'm going to start with a mulligan. I start the Spiritomb. My opponent has started with Duskull and Dreepy, so it's going to be against Dusknoir Dragapult. I play Artazon to find Gible, and bench a Roselia and put Fighting on the Gible. My opponent's going to use the Artazon to get another Duskull into play. They're going to play Crispin to go ahead and get energy to be able to retreat the Duskull. They attach a fire energy to the Dreepy, and now I'm going to be hit with Itchy Pollen for 20 since it's weak to grass. I'm going to use Artazon again to get another Gible. I'm going to go ahead and play Arven just because it's my only supporter anyways. It'll give me the rescue board for when I'm ready to retreat, and I go ahead and evolve into Roserade just to have a little more health in play and pass the turn. My opponent's going to play Ultra Ball to be able to find your cloak so they can start digging through their decks some. They play Arven to find an item and a supporter. So they're playing Crystal. They nest ball a Fez into play and then hit me for Itchy Pollen. We'll go ahead and just get another Gible. Once I get a Gabite into play, I'll be able to do something, but right now, just pass the turn. They're going to use the Dracloak ability and then put Crystal on the bench Dreepy. And hit me for Itchy Pollen. Alright, so now I got Brock Scouting, so I can find the Gabite, which has an ability that lets you search for Cynthia's Pokemon. So now that I've got the one Gabite, I can get another Gabite and keep that chain going until I get whatever I want to put on the last bench space. Then I'm going to decide to use Artazon to fill up that space. So I put the Roselia into play. So I can use the Gabite to go ahead and put Roserade into my hand. If they hand interrupt me, I could just use Gabite to get it back anyways. On their turn, they use Recon Directive. They're going to go ahead and boss up the Gabite that has energy. I guess they just don't want the energy in play. They play Earthen Vessel, and now they have their Dragapult online. So let's see where they're going to put these damage counters. They're knocking out the active Gabite. They knock out the bench Spiritomb, put 40 on one of the Gabites and 10 on the other. I promote the Gabite, and I go ahead and evolve into Roserade and use Champion's Call to find Garchomp. We'll go ahead and use the other Champion Call to find another Garchomp and evolve both of them. Just get more HP in play so he can't be picking me off easily with these Dusclops and Dragapult. Here I play Poffin, which I really should have just held it to discard with Ultra Ball since I had Artazon that could have grabbed the Gible easily. I'm going to consider how to play the energy here. I can one-shot the Dragapult, but if I use the Neo Upper, I will be losing it for the game. Which is just part of playing the card, but we'll go ahead and play Ultra Ball and get Fezandipiti. Since he took a knockout, this will allow me to draw 3 cards, and at that point I decided it is important enough to knock out this Dragapult. I play Iono to get a new hand. Right here, I should have put the power weight on the Garchomp to protect it from Dusknoir, but I didn't. So I knock out the Dragapult, and they promote Budew. They use Artazon to get another Dreepy in play. They play Arven to get Rare Candy and Rescue Board. Play Night Stretcher to find the Dragapult EX from their discard pile. They play Ultra Ball, discarding the Rescue Board and Squawkabilly for a Dusknoir. So they're going to use that Rare Candy to get Dragapult back into play. And since they have the crystal on it, it can attack. But then they just go Itchy Pollen. I'm going to put Gabite back into play, and now I do put the power weight on the Garchomp since they were able to pass back to me. I play Iono, and I find energy, which is what I was looking for. The corkscrew attack lets me draw until I have 6 cards in hand, and it knocks out the Budew. They promote the Dragapult EX. They use Artazon to get another Dreepy in play. They really need to get some Dracloaks online. They play Arven. And what I'm worried about here was Counter Catcher, that is what they searched. They go ahead and draw 3 with Fezandipiti, and then they put a Dusclops in play. The Dusclops isn't really going to change the math on this Garchomp, but they could have used it to knock out the Fezandipiti after a Counter Catcher and putting 5 damage on the Fezandipiti. But they're going to focus on these Roserades, since that's what's allowing me to knock out the Dragapult. So they put 10 on the Fezandipiti and 5 on the Gabite. I promote the non-tool Garchomp. One of the big problems with this deck is knowing where to put power weight and where to put Powerglass, and sometimes you really need both, so it can be difficult. I'm going to use Artazon just to look at the deck real quick. And one of the cool things here is that Fezandipiti is weak to fighting, so I can actually use the first attack of Garchomp to be able to knock out this Fezandipiti and save my energy to keep in play. We'll go ahead and I find a power weight. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the Gabite and put Powerglass on the other Garchomp. Yep. And the fact that there's free retreat on the Garchomp, you can just kind of switch between them depending on which tool you really need to utilize the most. So I'm going to go down to 1 prize card here. Now, if they find a way to knock out the Fez and the Gabite, like if they have Jamming Tower, but I don't think they're going to find all that. They use the Dracloak. They fail the Artazon just looking at the deck and then hit me with Iono. So they hit the active for 200 and they put the rest on the Gabite. So now all they need, if they attack again, if I don't change something, I'll lose. So I'm going to be forced to retreat this active Garchomp since 60 more damage takes out that Gabite. So I put Powerglass on it and then use the Corkscrew Dive attack, which is going to refill my hand. And because I'm at 1 prize card, they can't use either of these Dusknoir, so I'm pretty safe on that front. But if they found a boss, they would have won. But they play Iono, which keeps me safe, so now I'm scared of Counter Catcher again. And they concede as they don't find it. In the second game, I lose the coin flip. That first game was pretty close. If they just found any Gust, they could have won the game. And we'll be stuck with another mulligan again, which I play a decent amount of basics, but it's alright. I start the Spiritomb again. Its opening hand, I'm going to have to use this Artazon again, it looks like, to find Gabite. I ended up drawing Buddy-Buddy Poffin for turn, which is nice. This matchup, I probably could have put Budew in play to try to put him under item lock, but the Roserade, since Garchomp's attack does 260, it's not as useful, but it allows you, if you put the Roserade in play, it allows you to 2-shot the Golden Go. But now that I see they play Monkey Dory, that's going to be a little bit harder since they can pass damage back. So I would need 2 Roserades in play for the 2-shot method to work. They play Earthen Vessel to get some energy and attach for turn. So they're playing Lavencia, which allows them to get 2 lightning energy back into play each turn. They Iono resetting my hand, which is not really too much at this point. And I can see I got the Brock Scouting, which could let me get into Gabite. And this is where I'm going to kind of hurt myself because I didn't prize check, so I'm not sure if I could just Arven for the one-of Ultra Ball. If I'd prize checked, I could have went Arven and been in a much better position because I would have been able to get Rescue Board and put it on the Genesect and stop them from Energy Search Pro. But since I didn't do that, I played it safe and went Brock Scouting and got Gabite. That way I can just get all the Gabites online. And here I search Roserade just to kind of conceal that I have one in hand. And I have to put power weight on the Genesect just because I didn't prize check. They evolve into Golden Go ×3, which is going to let them draw a lot of cards. So keeping this Energy Search Pro offline is not going to matter too much if they can draw this many cards each turn while I'm slowly setting up. There they get it in hand. So they attack and they decide to knock out the Spiritomb. So I'm just going to promote one of these Gabites since I can get into Garchomp easily next turn. I play Arven getting Vessel and Power Weight. I'm just going to go ahead and get all my Garchomps. I only have access to 2, so I get the Roselia to put on the bench. Which, like, because of the Monkey Dory, that's going to matter a little bit. I throw away the counter catcher since I'm about to take a knockout soon, and I don't really need to change what's in the active right now. I could have promoted one of the Golden Goes, made it a little harder, make him stretch his energy a little bit, but I didn't think it mattered enough. So he's going to go ahead and move 30 to the Gabite that I didn't evolve. He benches Fez, but I didn't take the knockout since I'm planning on two-shotting here. He has Vessel to find some more energy. He gets 2 lightning, so that's going to make that Lavencia work. He hits me with Zerosix here, which was pretty hard to know what I should discard. And once again, since I didn't prize check, I don't know if I could throw this Roserade or not away or not. So I end up throwing 2 Ionos away, which would have been pretty useful. He's going to use his coin bonuses to see plenty of more cards. Alright, he's going to make it rain. Let's see how many he discards. So he's only going to hit it for 100, so he's trying to soften it up and take advantage of the Lavencia. Go ahead and evolve the other Roserade. So I can knock out the Golden Go here, but I go ahead and bring up the Fez just to keep him off of cards, but kind of wish I would have just taken the Golden Go, because now I can't two-shot it because of the Monkey Dory, even with the second Roserade in play. There's no way for me to get a third one, so he's going to boss and try to get that Energy Search Pro online now, it looks like. Lavencia gets him 2 energy back easily. He's going to use Adrenabrain. He could have saved an energy by putting it on the Genesect, but he goes ahead and puts it on the Gabite. So he discards 3 energy to be able to knock out the Genesect. I'm going to promote the Powerglass Garchomp. And I got my other Garchomp off the prizes. So here I'm thinking if I want to just put the Genesect back in play or not, or the Roselia to get another Roserade. Because at this point he's gotten so many energy cards, the Energy Search Pro is not quite as good at this point in the game. But I go ahead and do it anyways, just because of how much he went after the Genesect. It made me felt like maybe he doesn't have energy retrieval in hand. So I'm going to play Vessel and get some more energy. Have to discard the 2 energy to knock out the Golden Go, which is fine when you have Powerglass, since during the end of your turn you get 1 back, and then I have energy in hand to attach if I don't get Iono'd. He plays Stretcher to get the Fez back. Lavencia is going to get him 2 lightning. He's got a pretty full hand. I'm kind of hating that I had to discard those Ionos earlier just because I didn't prize check. He does have Retrieval to get some energy back. He has Xerosix, another copy of it, which is pretty interesting. But at this point, this game's pretty much locked up because I can just two-shot his Golden Go if he doesn't change anything. Or I can just one-shot it. He flips the script. Plays Nest Ball. At this point, the game's already locked up, so just gonna let him do his thing. He knocks out the Garchomp. I promote the other Garchomp and attach for turn and knock out the Golden Go for game. Now let's try out the Team Rocket's Mewtwo deck. I win the coin flip and choose to go first. I've started Articuno. I'm playing 3 Proton and 4 Receiver, so I feel pretty good choosing first to be able to set up. Proton can be played on the first turn of the game. We'll go ahead and check the prizes real quick. I bench a Tarountula and then play the Proton. We'll be able to get Mimikyu, Mewtwo, and Tarountula here. That'll allow me to be able to set up 2 Spiritomb pretty quickly, and I can bench the Mewtwo and go ahead and put some energy on it. I'll save the Mimikyu as I don't really need it in play yet. And I pass turn. My opponent's going to start the Proton also. They find 2 Tarountulas and Articuno. There's no reason to really bench Articuno in this match, as there's nothing you're really needing to protect against any of the attackers in the Mewtwo deck. My opponent attaches Psychic to the Mewtwo and then plays Vessel, discarding the Grass Energy. You want to be able to get energy in the discard pile for the Spiritomb to add back later. With the Vessel, they find a Water and a Psychic, so they're playing the Water energy to be able to attack with the Articuno, but its attack's not that useful, only doing 120 damage for a Water and 2 colorless if it has Team Rocket's energy attached. They pass the turn. On my turn, I'm going to go ahead and put the energy needed to attack with the Mewtwo and play Giovanni to get it into the active and be able to take out a knockout on one of their Tarountulas. I go ahead and bench the Mimikyu in case I get hand interrupted, since Archer can be played after having a Team Rocket Pokemon knocked out. My opponent promotes the Tarountula. They evolve into Spiritomb and use its charge up ability to be able to get a Grass Energy attached. Then they play Receiver, being able to find any Team Rocket supporter card. They're going to find Proton. This is going to allow them to fill up the bench and be able to do 180 damage with the Spiritomb. They attach Psychic Energy from hand to the Spiritomb. The Proton finds a Mewtwo and 2 more Tarountulas. Then they hit the Mewtwo for the 180. My turn, I find another Receiver. I don't really need anything, so I'm just going to use Receiver to find the Ariana to be able to just draw 4 extra cards. I could have played Petrol to find Factory and then drew each turn, but I don't want to put it in play in the mirror match at this moment. I feel like I'm ahead and I don't really want to give them more ways to draw and get back. I play Great Ball and flip heads so I can find another Spiritomb. This allows me to evolve both my Tarountulas into Spiritomb. I attach for turn to one of the Spiritomb, and then use the Erase Your Ball attack for 160 to knock out the Spiritomb, taking the first 2 prize cards. My opponent promotes Tarountula. They play Super Rod, putting back Tarountula, Spiritomb, and energy. I like to keep energy in the discard pile, so I'm not sure about that. They go ahead and get 2 Spiritomb into play. They use the ability to get Grass and then energy switch from the Mewtwo, and then attach for turn to the other. I think they could have just attached for turn and saved the energy switch for a more vital moment. They knock out the Mewtwo, taking 2 prizes to even it up. I promote the Spiritomb, because with its charge up ability, I can knock out the other Spiritomb as long as I get 1 more Rocket Pokemon in play. So I play Proton and go ahead and get Mewtwo, Tarountula, and the Wobbuffet. I'm just showing them the Wobbuffet so I can kind of threaten that I can move damage counters back if they keep trying to 2-shot these Mewtwo's. I knock out the Spiritomb and take another prize card. They promote their last Spiritomb. Now they put Bravery Charm on Mewtwo, which is pretty good in the mirror match. I'm playing Maximum Belt, so I am able to one-shot it. Then they play Petrol, being able to find any trainer card. They get an energy switch, which if they just saved one earlier, they could have found a better card here. They put Team Rocket's energy on the Mewtwo and then energy switch to the Mewtwo. Then they play switch to get it to the active. Here's where I'm going to be kind of threatened that if they can get an energy in play next turn, they can one-shot my Mewtwo. They knock out the Spidops. I go ahead and promote my Spidops of my own. Thinking of how I want to use this last bench space. I go ahead and put a Tarountula in play because I'm just going to plan on doing as much damage with those as possible throughout. And I go ahead and play the factory since I'm not in as good of a position as earlier, and I play Archer. Here I consider playing the Great Ball, or if I just play the Ultra Ball and discard, and that's what I do. The Defiance Band's not going to help me knock out that Mewtwo, so I go ahead and discard it. I get another Spidops in play. Now I can play Factory. I don't find anything really useful, but I can play the Earthen Vessel to get more energy in the discard pile and find my last basic energy from the deck. I'm going to charge up to it. Then I'm going to attach to the Spidops and just do 180 to the Mewtwo. On their turn, they put a Team Rocket's energy on the Mewtwo and use the Spidops. They then knock out my active Spidops. I go ahead and bench the Mimikyu since it has free retreat to give me a little longer to think about what I want to use. I attach Team Rocket's energy and then play Ariana to draw 6 cards. I'm going to play the Ultra Ball, discarding the Proton and Articuno to put the Wobbuffet in play now, and use Team Rocket's Factory to draw 2 cards. I use both Spidops to get grass energies attached and retreat into the Spidops with 2 energy and knock out the active Mewtwo. He puts an energy on the Mewtwo, so now he doesn't have a way to bring up my Mewtwo for 2 prizes. That would have won him the game. He gets Giovanni, but it's after he's already played a supporter. He plays Ultra Ball and puts another Mewtwo into play. He knocks out my Spidops, and at this point, all I need is to put the Mewtwo active, attach an energy, and use the charge up to have the energy to discard and knock out the Mewtwo and take game. For this next one, we're going to be trying out the Ethan's Typhlosion deck. I start with Syndicquil, and I'm paired up against Dragapult Dusknoir. They get a Dreepy on the bench and pass the turn. I'm going to decide to use Budew to item lock them, and I just get a Dunsparce since it looks like they've had a pretty slow start. I'm going to check that everything's there that I need. And I debate, I'm going to go ahead and just use the Fire Energy and save the Rescue board. I probably could have just went ahead and used the Rescue board, but I want to leave the Cyndaquil open for maximum belt. They get Dracloak, so now they're going to be able to start seeing some cards. They put Luminous Energy on the Dracloak and pass. My turn, I'm going to get Quilava and find Ethan's Adventure to be able to start setting up the deck. I'll get 2 Cyndaquil and another Quilava for next turn. I hit them with Itchy Paw and it's their turn again. They're going to be able to go Recon. And they get the Psychic Energy for the Dracloak and then hit me with Iono. But because I have Quilava, I can just search out Ethan's Adventure again if I'd like. They're going to use Dusclops to knock out the Budew. We'll get Research off the prizes. And I go ahead and promote Cyndaquil. They bench Hawlucha, hitting Dunsparce and Cyndaquil for 10, putting them both at 60, and then they retreat back into the Hawlucha. My turn, I'm going to start off with Quilava getting Ethan's Adventure. We'll go ahead and play it to find some more Ethan's cards. We'll get Quilava, Typhlosion, and then a Fire Energy so I can attack. We'll play the other Quilava so I can get another Ethan's Adventure. This one I can just discard with the Ultra Ball. I'm going to find a Dunsparce to be able to evolve this bench Dunsparce. Right here I'm going to think of if I want to use it yet or not. I'm going to hold off for now. I don't want to item lock. So I go ahead and Poffin for 2 Dunsparce. Evolve into Typhlosion. And use the runway to draw, see what I get. So I can go Rare Candy Typhlosion if I want. Now I do go ahead and get into the Budew. And if I just used that rescue board earlier, I would have been able to have a better spot here. But I've had to throw away 2 Fire Energy retreating. They use Recon Directive, and now they're going to retreat into the Dracloak. And then they play Jax, so they're going to be able to get Dragapult. They evolve into the Dragapult and use Phantom Dive. They can't take anything on my bench. They put 10 each on the Dunsparces and hit the rest on the Quilava. I'm going to go ahead and promote the Typhlosion. I just need one more Ethan's Adventure in the discard pile. We'll go ahead and search for the last Ethan's Adventure, attach the Maximum Belt, Rare Candy and Typhlosion, and they see it. And for this last game, we're going to try out Misty's Gyarados. I'm going to be going first. I'm going to start the Lapras. I like the Swim Together attack, lets you search for 3 Misty's Pokemon. I'm going to bench a Psyduck and a Wooloo, and play Earthen Vessel, getting 2 Water Energy. I go ahead and attach one to Lapras. Since we're playing against the Mewtwo deck, we know it can attack early in the game. They started the Mimikyu, and they play Proton to find 3 basics. They got 2 Mewtwo, Tarountula on the bench. They put Bravery Charm on the Mewtwo and a Team Rocket Energy. They go ahead and bench the Articuno, so I'm not sure if they just don't know what my deck can do or not, but they don't really need the Articuno. On my turn, I don't want to play the Iono because they're at 3 cards, and my hand's fine, so I go ahead and just use the Lapras and get 2 Magikarp and Gyarados. The Swim Together attack's nice that it searches the Pokemon, but it does kind of suck that the Magikarp gets stuck in the hand. It can't just be put on the bench. But the bonus is being able to get Gyarados with the attack. They play Giovanni, getting the Mewtwo to do the active and knocking out my Wooloo. So that's going to take away a Gust option later. I go ahead and promote Lapras and go ahead and bench everything, 2 Magikarps and the Psyduck. Because I have Gyarados in hand, I still don't really want to play the Iono and reset their hand yet. So I use the Swim Together attack, get 2 more Psyducks and another Gyarados. They're going to go ahead and play Transceiver to find any supporter. Probably Ariana to be able to refill their hand. No, they go with Giovanni. And then don't even use it, so they could have just refilled their hand. I'm not really sure what they were thinking. I promote the Magikarp and evolve it into Gyarados. I evolve the bench Magikarp also. And with the Psyducks, I am able to guarantee 280. I go ahead and get an energy off the Night Stretcher for Gyarados. I play Artazon and go ahead and Iono. I don't want to use the Artazon because it'll shuffle the decks, but I am just going to go ahead and put all the Psyducks on top of the deck. I'm going to need to get a little lucky and hit one more Misty's Pokemon for this knockout. And that's exactly what happens. So I'm going to take 2 prize cards. They promote the other Team Rocket's Mewtwo and attach Team Rocket's energy. And now that they have the Spidops, they can knock out this Gyarados by discarding 1 energy off the Spidops. They hit me with the Archer to reset my hand down to 3. It's going to make it pretty tough now to win this game, because I had the Max Rod in hand, which was going to help me get all the Psyducks back. But I draw it off the top of the deck anyways and play Artazon. Just going to probably get Magikarp. Oh, I go with... It's hard to think, but I'm thinking I just need Magikarp, but the Lapras can't be gotten off of Poffin, so that's why I get it. And the Staryu attack isn't going to be important here, but the Starmie attack could line up to knock out Spidops. That's why I got it. So I play the Max Rod, getting back a water and the 4 Psyducks. And I'm going to go ahead and use all of them to get on top of the deck. That's going to allow me to knock out the Mewtwo with this. And take 2 more prize cards, but it's going to get a lot tougher from here. We're down to all single prizers. And the Spidops, if they have a full bench, is able to knock out the Gyarados. They get Mewtwo back in play again. I think they should have just went the Spidops route and kept using it, but they put 2 Mewtwo's back in play. They play Vessel, discarding Evolution, which is pretty interesting. I guess they were trying to get Spidops online with that. They use the charge up to get a Psychic Energy and attach a Grass Energy from turn and knock out the Gyarados. I really think they should have just focused on that route the rest of the game. So I'm going to promote the Staryu because I can just go Starmie and Night Stretcher for energy and knock out the Spidops as a single prize option. I get Sacred Ash. I'm thinking what I need to put back to be able to win this game. So I put back Psyduck, Staryu, and the Wooloo. And I Poffin for the Wooloo and the other Staryu. An Artazon for a Psyduck. That's just for later. Put the water energy and go into Starmie, and I can take the knockout here to go down to 1 prize card. Now the problem is with Mewtwo, I don't really have a good way to one-shot it. Even if I could get the Gyarados, I'm not likely to hit enough Pokemon to knock it out. They get Factory in play, taking Artazon offline. They play Poffin just to shuffle the deck. Ariana's going to fill up their hand, and Factory's going to draw 2 additional cards on top of that. So it's looking pretty bad. They evolve into Spidops and put Team Rocket's energy on the Mewtwo. They're going to use the charge up ability, and if they have energy switch here, they can take the knockout, but they don't have it. So now Starmie's only doing 60 damage, and I don't draw anything, so I'm just going to hit for 60 and pass back. Now they have the energy on the Mewtwo so that it can attack, and they're going to get Giovanni off this receiver to take out my Magikarp, which is, I guess they figured that's my big attacker. They get Spidops back in the active, but they put Rescue Board on it, so they're going to be able to get back into the Mewtwo. It's going to make it a lot harder, because now I'm going to need Gust and Water Energy with a Starmie to have any shot at winning this game. And all they need to do is 1 more attack with the Mewtwo after this. They knock out the Magikarp, and I'm thinking if... So here I see that actually I could just promote this, and if I get a Gust, I can bring up the Mimikyu, and I hit Brock Scouting, which is going to get me the double to be able to win this game. Pretty fun match with the new decks.